We live in a culture where kids are desperate for meaning and value. They're on this incredible search.
Doesn't matter their skin color, doesn't matter their economic status.
They're filling their lives with all kinds of things, trying to belong.
Kids desperately need caring adults that will come alongside them, get right in the middle of wherever they are.
Who love them no matter what. Young Life is caring adults who love Jesus and love kids, and they enter into a kid's world.
Young Life is all about going to where kids are.
We're not waiting for a teenager to come to our building. We come to them.
Young Life Club is the 1 hour a week that we gather a lot of kids.
You're gonna have fun, you're gonna be energized, and you're gonna learn that Christ is not boring.
And the great thing about Young Life is when we send kids to Young Life Camp, they go with their Young Life leader. And that same Young Life leader who's been with them all year comes home with them.
We take very seriously the task of teaching them how to follow Christ, teaching them how to pray, teaching them how to read the Bible.
The vision of Young Life is that every kid will have the opportunity to hear about Jesus.
Every kid deserves to know who God is, deserves to know that somebody loves them.
How can you join this adventure? Because we are moving and we want you to come along.
Our staff are amazing. We need more of them. Our volunteers are amazing. We need more of them. We have donors who give sacrificially, and we need more of them.
If you love the Lord and have a heart for teenagers, I can teach you the rest.
This is an investment that is going to change kids' lives for generations. This is going to change communities for generations.
We know that if we show up and be available, that God uses that process and kids' lives change.
Hello, and thank you for taking the time to join us this evening. Tonight we're going to share with you the impact Young Life has made and continues to make in our community, and ask you to join the growing number of committed adults who desire to see our young people thrive in life and grow in their faith as they come to know Jesus in an intimate way. I'm Channel 9's Allison Lottis, and I'll be your host for tonight's event. You may be asking why I'm a part of this banquet. Well, I'm here because of the impact Young Life has made in my personal life. As a high school student, I got to experience the community of leaders and students who were pursuing Jesus in exciting and relevant ways. I attended club, campaigners, camp, and I even spent a month in high school on work crew over the summer. Don't worry if you're new to Young Life, you will know what all of these things are by the end of the night. It's still crazy to think about, but attending a Young Life event at 15 years old was where I met the young man I am now blessed to call my husband. Today we are both still involved in helping to grow Young Life in Gaston County because we really want there to be a thriving ministry of committed adults and leaders when our little girl is old enough to take part in this thing that has made such an impact on our younger years. We are here tonight to share a vision for this ministry and how you can be a part of what God is doing to change the lives of kids in our area. We need adults who can give their time, and we need adults who are willing to give their resources. Whether you're new to Young Life or you're an old veteran, your involvement can make a difference. And we are so excited that you're here. We have a lot to share with you tonight, but first we want to give you a chance to get to know the people you're spending the evening with. So we'll put a few questions on the screen for you to discuss, and we'll be back shortly.
to go.
My favorite part of club is like the singing and the games because it just gives me a time to hang out with my leaders and all my friends.
Just the community, just having fun, being able to relax, being able to just forget about all of the things in the outside world and just being able to have fun being a kid.
It's just a great time, honestly. You just throw down and have a good time.
Young Life Camp is the best week of my life.
Amazing. It's one of the best things I've ever done in my life.
You wake up and you just know you're in a spot where you can be you, be free, have fun, eat good food, and just learn about Jesus.
It is just a time where you can just dive into the Word of God, but also hang out with all of your best friends.
First time, I was like, this is kind of crazy.
I was kind of nervous at first.
Probably one of the best nights of my life.
When we got in there, I was like expecting just to like have like a Bible study. I get in there, like we're screaming, like singing songs, like normal songs, not like worship songs. I was like, what's going on?
And whenever you get around everyone and meet everyone, it's just a fun place.
I had never gone, I had never known what it was. And I ended up playing this game where I got pied in the face, got one of my pants ruined, but it's so worth it because I had the time of my life.
Definitely one of the closest relationships I have.
He understands me. Not many people understand me. Me coming from a Hispanic background. Since Chris is also Hispanic, he's been more or less a mentor spiritually, and that's something that I've never been able to find, and I really appreciate that about him.
My Young Life leaders are really accepting, and they're all just really sweet and kind, and I feel like I can be myself around them.
I mean, it's just something that I value a lot, and that they're always there for me, like no matter what, in any situation there.
He's given me a vision by showing me that I will always have Jesus no matter what I do, what sin I cause, what problems I go through, that I can always turn to Jesus and know He's going to help me.
Young Life has taught me how to just be open with the Bible and have that reinsurance with God.
Young Life has given me this vision that I'm able to do things that I didn't think I was able to. I'm able to overcome these obstacles with somebody that you didn't think was there but really is all the time. God is always there for you.
Not a lot of people have activities that they can do, and it's just something where everybody is welcome and everybody can go to and be themselves.
I mean, it'll just change your life. I think everybody should come to Young Life. I mean, because if you're not a follower of Christ and you're trying to like learn more, Young Life's a great way to do it.
There's a lot of people that are craving that kind of connection, that are craving those connections that they don't have at home, or they don't have with their families, or they don't have at school. And at Young Life, once again, you're able to sit down, let go of all of the other things that's going on in the outside world, and you're able to make these connections with people that will actually help you and actually care about you.
I love hearing those stories, and I can say from my own personal experience that many of those responses are true for me as well. There are so many more stories like that we could share. Young Life has been ministering to young people since 1941, and it continues to move forward with the gospel, stepping into the lives of disinterested high school students through some time-tested methods like club, campaigners, camp, and contact work, all to reach kids. Despite ever-changing circumstances, we know that the good news of Jesus Christ never changes and is needed more now than ever. As you've heard tonight, Young Life seeks to bring disinterested teenagers to the foot of the cross here in Gaston County through one-on-one mentoring relationships with leaders. These leaders continued to show up in the lives of kids, even in the midst of many unknowns, and certainly over the past year. They pursued kids, knowing that they had the words of life that the high school kids needed to hear. They brought the words of Jesus, telling them they matter, they are loved, and that healing can be brought into a hurting world. We simply cannot continue to do that without both generous and sacrificial people like yourselves who are sitting with us tonight. In fact, There are thousands of teens in our area who don't have adults willing to walk alongside them, pray for them, and speak words of encouragement and faith into their lives. Young Life leaders walking through the doors of their schools, knowing their names, and seeking to build relationships with them are some of the greatest gifts we could give to young people of our community. And that is the most important thing. God using a caring adult leader to make a difference in the life of just one teenager, pointing them toward Jesus.
There's this common conversation that happens between kids and their parents. It's September, the leaves are falling, and every kid in the universe is excited about one thing: Friday night football. The teenager finishes dinner at home and is already halfway out the door when he turns around and shouts, "Mom, I'm going to my Young Life leader's house after the game." Not so fast, mister. Explaining Young Life isn't easy. The only thing harder than explaining Young Life is explaining Young Life to worried parents. How worried? Kitchen table conversation worried. The hardest part to explain for the kid isn't the Young Life events or the Young Life camps. It's the relationship with these guys. Who are these people, and why do they spend all their time with high schoolers and middle schoolers? What's a Young Life leader? It's Monday. The leader is supposed to get up at 5:45 a.m. They end up getting up at 5:54, so no time to shower. They need to be at a school that they didn't graduate from in 20 minutes to pass out donuts. Luckily, they can drive to this school in their sleep because they've spent every Monday for months doing the same exact thing, which is why they threw away the donut holes and started using the whole thing, no pun intended. Even though no one wanted donuts and they burned through half a tank of gas, they consider the morning a success. Another quarter tank of gas later, and they are home just on time for their 8 a.m. psychology lecture. Yeah, psychology lecture. College isn't going to finish itself. Classes drag, but once they're finished, it's back up to the school that they didn't graduate from. It's campaigners tonight, which is pretty much just a Bible study for people that wouldn't usually come to one. Moms are happy everywhere that their child's NIV is no longer collecting dust.
Campaigners is a place where people can be real. It's a place where people are free to ask the questions that they've always been thinking and find out those answers.
Right before they sleep, they briefly recall all the new names that they had learned that day at the school that they didn't All right, you get it. Tuesday. Sun rises. Tuesday is an almost identical day to Monday, minus the donuts and plus a basketball game. They see that student again. They laugh at one of your jokes. Let's go! On their way back home, they stop by the local sports bar and ask about fundraising opportunities. The leader needs to raise a lot of money and not a lot of time if they want all the students to go to Young Life Camp. What's Young Life Camp? It's the best week of your life, but we really don't have time to talk about that right now. Wednesday. Club Day, Young Life's party with a purpose. The leader has been rehearsing their lines for weeks for a silly skit that may or may not be funny. Is Salt Bae still funny? Anyways, Club isn't just some loud event that starts at 8:08. It's a loud event that breaks down walls. It just happens to be at a goofy time.
Young Life Club's weird.
Play a ton of games, listen to music, dance, talk at the end about Jesus.
That one student came and had the best time while hearing about a God who loved them. No, seriously, is Salt Bae still funny or have we moved on? Fast forward to the weekend. No one wants to see more lectures and car rides. We get it, you're in college, you do a lot of stuff. The leader has now spent a total of 5 hours and a tank and a half of gas of going to and from the school that they lead at.
I fill up my gas tank every single time I'm in Finneytown.
It's a quiet Sunday afternoon, the perfect time to catch up on schoolwork. Then the phone rings. It's from an unknown number, which usually means don't pick up, but for some reason, they do. It's that student. They asked to get lunch. Suddenly, homework isn't important. I'm on my way. The donuts, the basketball games, they're good things. In fact, they're great, but they're meaningless if they don't lead to something bigger. This is the heartbeat of Young Life, and it always has been. The something doesn't have to be sensational. It doesn't have to be spectacle. It doesn't have to be club, campaigners, or even Young Life Camp. The walls are already down, the teenager is already won, and the stage is already set for something. It's this: to introduce teenagers to Jesus Christ and help them grow in their faith. It looks like this. It's not just because they care, but it's because they've been transformed by God's love and feel compelled to share that in the best way they know how. What's a Young Life leader? They're people, just like you and I. But what does a Young Life leader do? They care. And it looks a lot like showing up, one day at a time.
Hey everyone, I'm Chad Sakata, the Area Director for Young Life here in Gaston County. And on behalf of our staff, our board, our volunteer leaders, and thousands of kids in our area, I want to thank you for being a part of tonight as well. Now here are a couple more ways that you can get more involved and have a direct impact on the lives of adolescents through the ministry of Young Life. 1, you can join us as a volunteer leader. We need more folks to help us reach kids in the schools where we currently are. And we need people to help us start new ministries in new places. Ministries like Wildlife, which is simply Young Life geared toward middle school students. Because we know that kids are experiencing and dealing with bigger issues earlier in life, but also in all of our other 13 high schools in the county, whether public, private, or charter. 2, you can join our Young Life Board. This is a group of adults dedicated to doing the things that ensure ministry can continue moving forward in our community. They help with things like fundraising, this banquet, our golf classic, caring for volunteer leaders and staff, prayer, and so many other vital pieces to the ministry. Whatever ways you may want to serve, there is a way for you to do that in Young Life. Now, after hearing all of this, you may have some questions about some of these opportunities. We want to give you another time to both ask your questions and stretch your legs if need be. We'll be back in a few minutes to discuss one more way for you to get involved and invest in your community.
Hi everyone, my name is Josh Lucas. I'm on the board of Gaston County Young Life, and I'm also Allison's husband. I've been involved as a high school student, a leader, an area director in Pittsburgh, and now a parent who's passionate about my daughter's opportunity to experience this ministry. Tonight we are asking you to invest in our community. Invest in the lives of young people in Gaston County. We know that in this world we live in, we need more connection and not less. Kids need more people truly caring about them, not less. They need more people lifting them up when the world is so quick to tear them down. My wife and I experienced this, and it wasn't just the leaders. It wasn't just club, and it wasn't just campaigners or camp. We experienced this because our hometown had a group of caring adults who were willing to put their time and money into making sure the children of our community were loved and cared for and could hear the life-changing message of Jesus Christ. This can't be done without funding. The Ministry of Young Life operates because of the financial generosity of donors in our community, which brings me to something I want to make sure you're aware of. Young Life is an international ministry, and because of this, sometimes there's a perception that it has some large grouping of funds that it can disperse to areas as needed. And this just isn't the case. You see, Young Life areas are self-sustained, and this is actually a good thing. And here's why. This means almost all of the money that we raise here in Gaston County supports ministry happening right here in Gaston County. This month, through our series of banquet dinners, we hope to gain deeper partnerships and investment from you all. Our budget for the year is $151,000, or $12,500 a month. Currently, we're grateful for a committed donor base that supports us with $75,800 annually, or $6,300 a month, leaving a difference of $6,200 a month for the fiscal year. Typically, we make up that difference through fundraising events, like our annual Golf Classic and Gaston Community Foundation run. But what if we didn't need to rely on those events? What if our monthly giving supported 100% of our needs? If that happens, events like the Golf Classic and the Banquet suddenly become opportunities to get to the next school and start new ministries like Capernaum, Young Life for kids with special needs, or ministries like Young Lives, a ministry which focuses on teenage mothers and their children. We could bring on new staff, and we can pay for more camp trips for kids who can't afford it. Monthly donations are vital in creating consistency within the ministry. Would you consider joining us as a new monthly donor? There are homes across the county listening to this same message this week. And if each family attending is able to partner with us as a monthly donor, we could reach easily our financial goals. If you are currently a monthly donor, would you consider increasing your monthly donation in order to help us achieve our goals and allow us to dream about the next school? If you're someone who is considering giving a one-time gift tonight, I would challenge you. Instead, give a monthly gift that annually adds up to the amount you were thinking of giving. Even as little as $10 a month makes a difference. Here's a couple ways you could think about how far your gift could go and what it really will cost you. For the cost of an annual subscription to Netflix, Disney+, Hulu, if you're like me, we have a lot of these, and you could fund, for the same cost as one of those, one of our volunteer-led clubs for 2 months. The average American goes to Starbucks 6 times per month. If that average American made coffee at home for all of those 6 times, they could give $25 per month to Young Life. The average cost of a family of 5 to dine out for one meal can easily exceed $50. Would you consider a $50 a month gift to Young Life? Listen, whatever way you are able to give and however you can contribute, of your time, your talents, your funds, we are so grateful for you. And we hope that you will walk with us in this adventure.
Hopefully tonight has been both encouraging and inspiring for you and has made you stop and think of how you may be a part of the work and vision for what's happening in Gaston County. In just a minute, you'll see one final video about the big dream and vision of Young Life, and after that, 2 QR codes will appear on the screen. One will allow you to partner with us financially, and the other will tell you of all of the volunteer opportunities we have available. I really hope that you will prayerfully consider how you can be a part of the big dream coming to fruition here in Gaston County. And we thank you again for joining us tonight.
The big dream was a pretty little dream, but it got big because there was such a big idea behind it. Everyone has a right to know the truth about Jesus Christ. They're in every class and every color, in every ethnic group, in every segment of our society. Everyone needs Jesus Christ. They have a right to know who He is. They have a right to know what He's done for them. They have a right to know how they relate to that. They have a right to know Him personally. They have a right to make their own choice of Him. Man alive, if there was ever a generation in human history that needed to hear that, it's now. So the big dream, stated another way, is this. It's a group of people bound together in the single-minded purpose that there's no price too high to pay to see to it that young people have a chance to know the Savior. That's not just what Young Life's all about. That's all that Young Life's all about. I hope that you people will get up with new determination and go back to the big dream and make it come true in millions of lives.